Hello, sixth graders, it's Mr. Gardell. How are you on this wonderful day? Hey, today's video is going to focus on guided notes for language arts, math, and science. Social studies does not have guided notes. However, a separate video has been created for you on how to use a program called Kami to complete your guided notes for social studies. The difference between guided notes and the study guide that's created for you in social studies is that the study guide for social studies you have to complete just like you would for the guided notes within the lesson, but it won't have quote unquote fill in the blank questions. Your responses will need to be longer, for example, defining vocabulary terms, or you are provided true false questions and you have to figure out if the statement is true or false, or you need to simply answer the multiple choice question by following along the lesson and listening to the direct instruction and reading whatever is required of you. But this video focuses on guided notes, which I personally find a little bit easier than the study guide, but I know you'll be successful at the study guides as well. So, guided notes. A couple of things. One, you always have the option to print your guided notes if you have a printer at home. However, not all of us have a printer at home, so you then, in order to complete your guided notes, would need to utilize your technology device using the program called Kami that I'm going to introduce to you today. Secondly, make sure you're always, when you log into your technology device, that you log into your Hastings Apps account. If you forgot your username and password, you can see on the screen an example that I created for you to help remind you of what your username and password are. If you struggle with that, please don't hesitate to contact your online academy teacher or me, Mr. Gardell. So once you're logged into your Hastings Apps account, then we're going to get into Edgenuity. Edgenuity is going to allow us now to access those guided notes. Right now you can see 4 different tiles. Each of those tiles are for the 4 courses that you're currently enrolled in. I'm going to use math as my example on using guided notes within the program called Kami. So I'm going to click on my math course and I'm ultimately going to get to the math course map. Within the course map you can see all of the different lessons, units, etc. throughout the entire semester. But for right now, we're just going to focus on Unit 1, Understanding Ratios and Rates, specifically Lesson 1, or Describing Part-to-Part Relationships. To the left of that lesson, you will see an icon for guided notes. So simply click on that, and now you have the guided notes. The problem right now is you cannot type on them. You have to utilize the Kami program in order to type onto this document or your guided notes. So off to the upper right you see the letter K, which stands for Kami. So we're going to open this document using the program called Kami. Now I'm able to access my guided notes using Kami. Over on the left hand side you're going to utilize most frequently the text box. Once in a while you might make a mistake and need to utilize the eraser. So how do I complete these guided notes? Well, the first thing that I want to do is look in the upper left hand corner. This lesson is specifically related to the warm-up on describing part-to-part relationships. So I need to go back and find that within Edgenuity, okay, within the lesson in Edgenuity. But do I have to go back and forth and back and forth? No. Here's a little trick. The first thing I want you to do is to minimize this page, close anything that's behind it. And then the next step is to take the guided notes using Kami and drag it across. So now you have basically a split screen. And now I can see both the course or the lessons within that math lesson and my guided notes. So again, you'll notice warm up. So if I look to the left, within this lesson, I can see warm up as well. So I'm going to click on that. And I would first go through this in order. You don't have a choice, right? You have to watch segment 1 video first, segment 2 video second, segment 3 video third. I've already watched them, so I'm freely able to go back and forth. But once I finish watching a segment or a short video on this lesson, I'm ultimately going to come across something that looks similar to my guided notes. And this is an example. So within these lesson goals, it says I need to describe part-to-part relationships, and then branching from that, I need to describe the ways two blank are related. So I look to the lesson itself, and I can see that quantities is what goes in that blank. So I simply click the T for text box, put the text box within that box in our guided notes, and I'm going to type in the answer quantities, and I can move it wherever I wish. If I want to make it smaller, the font that is, I have every right to do that. I just simply highlight it, go back to my text box, and click on 12, or I can make it larger to 24. Okay, you have to decide what works best for you. This is what works for me. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at 24 right now. Then I'm going to move on completing my guided notes using this video to complete them. So then it says on my guided notes, analyze how a change in blank affects the relationship between two quantities. Analyze how a change in amount. So I click on the text box again, and I know the word amount goes here, so I simply type in my response. I might need to center it. Boom, now I'm done. And then I'm going to complete the last box in my guided notes. Use blank to show how two quantities are related. Use models to show how two quantities are related. So again, I click on the T, put my text box in there. Models goes in there. If I want to center it, I may. If not, I can leave it. Now I'm finished with that portion of my guided notes. Let's say hypothetically, I'm done learning for the day in math. I've completed all of the requirements for that day. Now what do I do, Mr. Gardell? Do I save them? Will they save for me? Here's what I do just to be safe. I like to always save them because sometimes things don't automatically save. So how do I save them? So I'm going to click on this little icon that's going to say save. So I'm going to save, and then I'm going to have to download them. And in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm going to see a Kami Export PDF. So I'm going to click the up arrow and click Open. Now I'm going to click that down arrow, and now I'm going to save them. Where do I save them? That's up to you. I like to save everything to my desktop, but that's just my preference. Some people like to save it to their documents. Some of you might want to save it to your Google documents. That is simply your choice. And so I'm going to save it to my desktop because that's what works best for me. And so what am I going to name it? Well, the name of the course to start with. So math, and the name of the lesson is describing part-to-part relationships. And this is guided notes, so I'm going to title it guided notes. Now I'm going to save it, and now it's permanently saved onto my desktop, and I can easily access it. So I'm just going to close out of it for right now. So I'm going to close out of this, maximize that, and let's just pretend for a moment that I am coming back to my notes a day later. Well, where do I find those guided notes? Well, there's two places. One, I can go back into my math course, and I can click on the guided notes. Uh-oh, they're gone. What happened, Mr. Gardell? Yeah, they're not here. And however, I can open up everything in Kami, and now they're there again. And if they're not there, you can click on Open File by doing the following. I have a pin for Kami, but I can simply type in Kami. And now that I'm in Kami, I can open up that file this way as well because it's within my computer. And if I click on desktop and I scroll down to the word math, math describing part-to-part relationships, it is there as well. So you have a couple of different ways in order to find the guided notes that you are completing for each of those three courses: language arts, math, and science. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, Mr. Gardell, or your Hastings Online Academy teacher. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see all of your successes. Take care. Bye now.